Hey everybody, welcome back to the Journey Podcast. On today's episode, we are doing 2 live advising sessions. One of the reasons I like to do these types of episodes is because it gives you a behind the scenes look on how to actually implement the WorkSmart tools and frameworks. A lot of times as high achievers, we think we should be doing more. We think we should be working harder. And actually, we should just be adjusting how we're doing things to have a rich and juicy life, to be able to have more time for our family and friends and passions, to be able to problem solve, not in a way that necessarily means we're working more hours. A lot of people think in order to make more money and more freedom, they have to leave their day job. So in today's episode, we're going to talk to 2 women where that's something that they're trying to work through. We're also going to talk about relationships and dating. So if you are a high achieving woman who's looking for their match in life, make sure you're tuning in. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what questions you have. And if you want live advising, you can check out my website, morgandebon.com, click the button to join the program and submit from there. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hey everyone, I'm Morgan DeBaun, a passionate entrepreneur and life advisor. With the Journey Podcast, you'll discover that success isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. I'm sharing stories of amazing people who've taken control of their lives. Join me on my own journey to discover the secret sauce behind reaching success with permission from no one else. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Journey Podcast. We are back with another episode of the Rewrite Your Rules series. I'm here with Kristi today, and we're going to do some live advising. Kristi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell me what's going on. What made you sign up to get some feedback today?
Geez, I have been struggling. I go by Get Me Hired, Kristi, and I am the bridge that connects job seekers to their dream jobs. I've been working in talent sourcing for a while within the big tech space, and I have really been wanting to transition over to a space where I kind of do my own thing, that I help candidates build up their brands and get ready for interviews and have the resources that they need. And so I don't know. I've been really scared to kind of make that leap. And I've been using, my full-time job as a way to fund things on the side. And I think that's been the best thing. But I've never wanted to be an entrepreneur. But for some reason, I feel like it's calling me that way. So I just need help.
So why do you feel like you want to be a full-time entrepreneur? Let's question and talk through why.
Yeah. So I don't know if I necessarily feel like that. I do feel like something's calling me to do this type of work full time. I want to be able to go out to different schools or nonprofits and teach underrepresented candidates, job seekers, students about building a brand. I feel like I've been able to build a brand, over 210,000 followers on LinkedIn, followers on Instagram, TikTok, and it has helped me navigate through a space after being laid off. And so I feel like if I'm able to go to different schools and teach students this area, they'll start really soon and they won't have the struggles of like unemployment like I did or like anyone else is having during this time, because they've built up a brand that can help them kind of navigate through the space. And so I feel like that is what I need to be doing, what I'm called to do. But I also just love working a 9 to 5. I like being able to clock in and out and having like a side hustle. Like I feel like this has been my side hustle, but I need to cater it to it a little bit more. And so that's the struggle that I'm having.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you feel like there's more impact that you could make if you had more time to invest in your personal business. But because of the constraint of working a 9 to 5, you don't have enough time. So it feels like you have to make a choice if you want to have more impact with your side hustle and you want to help more people.
Correct. Definitely, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And I also feel like I kind of need to keep a foot in the door so that I'm able to be knowledgeable about what's happening in the space, what things are changing when it comes to recruitment. So yes, that's exactly how I'm feeling.
Right. So if you leave full time, then your full-time job, then over 2-3 years, maybe you're not the hottest thing in the block because you don't actually know the trends and hiring and things. So keeping your full-time job also keeps you in the industry know-how as well. So I think that's actually a common unintended consequence that people don't consider when they leave a full-time job. They don't consider, well, what am I losing by being a full-time entrepreneur? And one of the key things that you just mentioned is you're losing the access to information. You're losing the access to the network and the built-in professional development and learning that comes from just osmosis of being in a corporate environment. And if your value offer to others is the know-how, then that is potentially putting you at risk over time. And you won't feel it immediately, but you'll feel it in 2, 3, 4 years where people are asking you questions and you're like, I actually may not know the answer to that question, right? So it sounds like, Kristi, how would you feel if you were able to do both? If you were able to keep your 9 to 5, your direct deposit every 2 weeks, your vacation days, your benefits, and also make an incredible impact where you don't feel limited?
Is that possible?
Yes, it's definitely possible. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you are delivering your service to the people who you want to reach in your side hustle. Like, let's talk about how you're doing it. Because you mentioned a few things in your opening. You mentioned that you want to be in front of students, you want to be in front of young people, which implies you want to like physically get out there. You already have a great platform with over 200,000 followers. I mean, that is huge. And LinkedIn is a great place to be for your demographic that you're trying to reach. So tell me about how you're currently doing it.
Yeah. So my brand is Get Me Hired, Kristi. And so every video that I do, every piece of resource that I put out, that's the first thing you're going to hear. Get me hired, Kristi. Get me hired, Kristi. I'm like, oh, I hope I'm not ignoring people. But I am creating these different resources, these videos, and I am the connector. So I've worked in big tech for a while, and I'm able to either point people in the right direction or show people how I've been able to create this brand through the places that I've worked, the opportunities that I've had, the speaking engagements that I've done, and be able to put my name out there. Also, being able to utilize platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and having this pitch line that I use all the time for brand recognition, so that people are able to recognize my brand and like remember that. Like, it's catchy. They'll remember that name whenever they're thinking about something else. So that is kind of the first start. I've also been able to do different presentations. So I've presented to nonprofits on building up a LinkedIn presence. I just kind of want to scale on that a little bit more. And also just being able to do different brand partnerships when it comes to AI, different resume tools. I've partnered with them, AI note takers. So that has been a space that I've been able to excel and teach people about these different opportunities to help them move along and build up their brand. But that's kind of where I'm starting at.
Yeah, that's great. One of the things that we talk about in Work Smart in our framework a lot is master your data and understanding there's typically a gap between where you want to be and where you are. But if you look at your data, it's going to give you a really clear story and a really clear answer. So let me ask you, if you were to look back at the last 12 months of revenue for Get Me Hired, Kristi, what is the product or service that you're offering that's making you the most money?
Right now, it would have to be brand partnerships. So being able to present to the audience that I've built up, a diverse audience that I've built up, and get information and tools in front of them.
And the brands that are reaching out to you, what is their hope? Is their hope leads? Is it brand awareness? Is it signups? What are they looking for you to drive to their business?
A mix of all of it. There has been signups, being able to sign up for the tool, to utilize the tool, upgrades for the tool, and some have been brand awareness, just like getting the name out there. And so it's been a mix of a lot of different things.
Great. So I think it's important that you focus on making more money, right? So when you have more revenue in Get Me Hired, Kristi, then you can start to hire more people and you can start to automate more things because you have some discretionary income that can be reinvested into the business. For anyone who's a 9 to 5er, I always say for the first few years, everything you're making in your side hustle should go back into your business to make your business more sustainable because you already have a baseline of income with your 9 to 5. So you need to buy back your time because your structured time is going to your 9 to 5. So you need to use your income that you're getting from your side hustle back into Get Me Hired, Kristi. A lot of people start taking the money from their side hustle, to do fun things, go on vacation,
Yeah.
buy the shoes, get the new laptop, da, 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 da. And then they wonder, well, why can I never replace my side hustle and make that my main hustle? And I'm like, because you never invested in your business. You didn't invest your time because you have a 9 to 5, and you didn't invest the cash flow that you were getting from your side hustle because you wanted to be more comfortable and you wanted to live a little bigger.
Yeah.
You're using it to supplement your income. That's fine, but that's why most people get stuck. And the key to building your side hustle when you have a 9 to 5 is to actually treat it as a baby self-investment fund. Any profit and revenue you make goes back into the side hustle to build those systems and to hire people actually so that it can run and grow while you still have the stability of a 9 to 5. I actually don't think you need to quit at all.
Okay. Oh, that's so good to hear. I don't want to. I love what I do.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should. I think that your mission is in alignment with the work that you already do at work. And it's not in conflict at all. It's a perfect overlap. And as long as your employer is comfortable with it, which they should be because you're probably meeting a lot of qualified candidates along the way. And you're building your network, which allows you to get more access to qualified candidates, which is good for the company. It's probably okay.
Yeah.
Right? So really what we need to focus on is how do you have more time to reach more people? And I think the delivery of services, wanting to be in-person conversations, probably not the right thing. Brand deals are really interesting because brand deals are one-time moments of intensity and one-time moments of like cash windfall, right? You do a brand deal, you get paid $10,000, which is very different than every month you're making a bunch of content and getting paid $2,000 every month for 5 months to get money on the TikTok creator fund, right? So brand deals also are incredibly profitable. Your only cost is you.
Right.
Maybe an editor if you start to outsource some of the content creation process. So tomorrow, if I said, Kristi, how are you going to make $100,000 in brand deals? What would you do differently with your content and your brand today?
One of the things that I think would be a little bit more profitable, I focus a lot on the job seeker. So my brand is more so B2C. And one thing I've noticed, a lot of the brand deals, especially on LinkedIn, where my biggest audience is, it's more B2B. And I've been slowly trying to make that transition over while still keeping my job seekers close because that's the whole brand, right? But being able to maybe reach a bigger, deeper, kind of more targeted audience within my audience scale of maybe recruiters or hiring managers, so that I could really attract those B2B brand deals that are looking for other businesses to pick up things. So those are kind of more so what I was thinking about. And also breaking down more tools, like kind of going through the tools and helping people understand the tools, I feel like is more content I've been exploring at the beginning of this year as well, really highlighting certain features. And so that is what I'm working on to actively try to make more money in brand deals and working on longer partnerships as well. So trying to get those 3 months in, those 6 months in, since that is the deal. But also I do course creations for LinkedIn as well. So just trying to see what is needed in the space, especially within the workplace, to see what information I could put out there that for my own personal experience and be able to teach others.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want you to focus, but I don't think you have to do too much. Okay. So I don't think you need to do the courses.
Okay.
Let's set the courses aside for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think that based off of what you said, you already know what the right price point is. And what happens a lot with influencers and people who want to make money online is that they're a consumer. So they start making content for other consumers. Mm-hmm. And in reality, the biggest, baddest vertical when it comes to being a brand influencer is business. And finance, actually. Mm-hmm. So finance and business have the highest CPMs. And automotive, which isn't even relevant here, but just in case anybody's like, well, actually, it's automotive. I know that's high enough, y'all. I run a media company. Okay. So finance and business. And the reason for that is because business tools typically are on what, Kristi? When you're buying a business tool, you're billed monthly. It's a subscription.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So their ability and willingness to pay a lot of money to acquire a new customer is really high because it's a recurring revenue. So if you've got a tool, a new AI tool that will automate sourcing different candidates, and that tool costs you $100 a month, and the average customer stays on that tool for 12 months, that is a $1,200 customer. So if Kristi can get this company B 20 new customers, they might be willing to give Kristi an entire year's worth of revenue for that product because they know once those customers are hooked, they've got them for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So their willingness to spend is much higher. Conversely, if you're going after a consumer is not going to pay $100 a month for literally anything. We don't even pay $100 a month for Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really difficult to get consumers to convert to that type of a price point, and they are so quick to cancel. You might get them for 3 months, 6 months, you're solving the problem, they move on. So instead of getting $1,200, you might be getting $70.
Yeah.
So if you're a brand and you're a brand influencer, going after the business owners every time is going to make you more money. So with that, how do you think about separating your brand so that you can still get me hired, Kristi, which is different than let me help you hire, Kristi?
Oh, well, man. I need to think about it because I've been so tailored focused on the job seeker and making sure that they are successful throughout the steps and that they've been building up. I'm struggling to try to figure out how to make that transition over. But I do think my start would be talking about their products and being able to showcase their products within different videos that I make or different posts that I make on LinkedIn. And then that will attract or just adding more content to attract more businesses or some of your hiring managers as well in the mix of the content that I make for job seekers is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what most influencers get wrong is that they build their brand around their personal brand. And unfortunately, Kristi, you have stepped into this because it's called Get Me Hired, Kristi, which means it's not called gethired.com.
Yeah.
Which means it's really difficult to shift your customer base, which means you get stuck. And then it's really dependent on you, Kristi, helping somebody get hired. So one thing I want you to consider is actually what does it look like for Get Me Hired, Kristi, to become a sub-brand under something that's a bit more generic that you can actually build a business behind. So it's not just dependent on your face.
Okay.
It's a complicated thing, but it's something that I think would go a long way. And because we're not on a churn and burn, hustle hard, quit your job, go get it energy, you have time. Time is on your side. This could be a 1-year transition. It doesn't have to be done overnight.
Okay.
I
was worried about that. And I've heard different things about having your name attached to like the bigger brand or business.
It works for consumer. It doesn't work as well for B2B.
For B2B. Gotcha. I think I've been seeing that.
And your name's McKinsey and Deloitte.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't know Mr. McKinsey. We don't know Mr. Deloitte. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Right. But you could even call it, how do you pronounce your last name? Kinnebrew?
Kinnebrew. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could be Kinnebrew Hiring Consulting.
Gotcha.
Right? So it just sounds a little bit more regal, a little bit more B2B, but I think that will also give you a Kinnebrew & Co.
Ooh, I like
Kinnebrew Hiring.
Right.
Management. Boring. Businessy. Okay?
Right.
Because what you're trying to do is get into a situation where your side hustle becomes a business with an infrastructure that sustains itself, whether you personally are giving it 40 hours a week or not.
Okay.
And the real win is the fact that you have a stable day job that you enjoy. A lot of people hate their day jobs, which is why they want to quit. You like your life.
Yeah.
That's great. So let's not disrupt it. Let's keep it and figure out how to solve these other problems. What else is on your mind?
So it was that. And then also I had a question to see if you could help me through really quick. I'm having trouble dating as far as.
Topic.
Wait, is that an okay topic?
Let's do it.
Okay. I find myself running into these issues of, I feel like I've been talking to a lot of guys that feel like I'm doing a lot, that have a lot going. I do feel like I'm always moving. I'm very motivated, and I'm very like, if I don't do it, nobody else will. I got to do it. And I've been working on that to just kind of maybe soften up just a little bit. But I've always run into these situations where it's like I'm doing too much for the guy, or I got too much going on. I recently purchased a townhome, and the guys I was talking to like dropped me. Like it was one of those things, and I was just like, what happened? And so maybe just as a successful woman, and I know that you have your partner, but what are some things that maybe advice you would give me to just kind of navigate this space of dating?
Kristi, where do you live and how old are you?
I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm 30 years old.
Oh, you're in a perfect city. You're in a marriage city. This is good. Do you want to get married?
I do. I would love to.
Do you want to have kids?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. This is so good. You've got all the opportunity in the world. I think first things first is you have to have an abundance mindset that there are so many men, and also men also want to get married. Men also want to find their person. Men also want to have children and have a beautiful home life and share their life with someone, and they want to be old and cranky with, and they want to do all the things. So first things first is you have to believe that it exists, because it does. And I think so much we are told as Black women that Black men, and you might be dating outside your race, I don't know, which I would encourage, but so many Black women are told that the data is against us, right? That it's too late if you didn't find your man in high school or college, that there's no good men left, and it's so hard to date, and these men have all these options, and the odds are against us. You got to quiet that noise.
Yes. Okay.
Okay? Because you're fabulous, and that may be true for other women, but it's not true for you. So that's the first thing. And you're so cute. Your hair is done. Your nails are done. You got a job. You got a townhouse. You are a prize. And that is something that you also have to truly, truly believe. Those men who were intimidated because you bought a townhouse at 30, which is totally reasonable, like they weren't your husband.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the real man who sees that says, this is great. Her asset plus my asset equals double assets. And now we can turn her townhouse into property, passive income for the family, so that, you know what I'm saying? Like the real man for you is going to be like, that's cute. She has her townhouse. I got 5.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
You know what I'm saying? They exist. And they definitely exist in Texas, because men in Texas have a lot of masculine energy. Right? So where are you meeting these men?
I was on dating apps, but I'm outside. I'm at Afrotech. I'm at many different networking events, Mixer Cloud, different areas. Like I'm always just out, but I always run into the issue of like, does someone want to talk to me because they are interested and attractive, or are they looking for a job?
Oh no. Like, can you help me get a job?
Or they'll ask me out, and then it turns into a conversation about work.
Yeah, so you got to stop talking about work. So that's going to be one of your challenges, because you are so intelligent and you have so much to give that you want to be so generous. That's how you're already intrinsically motivated to help people. That's why you have a side hustle, why you picked the career that you did. You want to help everybody around you. You have a generous spirit. And I think that's beautiful, but you have to not help these men. They are helping you. Okay? Until they show that they are going to be your partner, they don't get anything from you.
Yeah.
You are receiving. And I think that's something that a lot more women, we struggle with it. I had to struggle with it too. There was men that I was dating, and I remember I would tell them, I can either make you a lot of money or you can have my love. And a lot of men would pick, help me make money. You're dead to me. You're gone. That was a wrong answer, boo. But they couldn't resist. Right? When I first started dating Josh, he didn't even know what Blavity was when we first started dating. He had never heard of it. And I was like, perfect. I'm not going to tell you about it. Like, we did not talk about work. Don't Google me. Don't look at nothing. Blavity what? Afrotech what? for months, for literal months. So you have to resist the desire to talk about work. You should be talking about how you spend your time, what food you like, how the weather is, things you want to do, how you feel today, right? So I want you to take some feminine energy courses. I want you to go on YouTube and watch some YouTube videos about feminine energy and really study it and really get into your body and really get into your soft side, your feminine side. I want you to do yoga. I want you to go do salsa dancing. I want you to like pamper yourself, light all the candles, take the bubble baths. Like I need you to be like in your soft energy so much you just like ooze flowers and rainbows.
Okay.
And it's going to be hard because during the day, you're a doer.
Yeah.
So you got to build a habit system, regardless of any man, that allows for you to have a much softer, much like more femme side. Because when you do that, you're going to start to attract men that are care providers. You're going to start to attract men that want to have a partnership, that aren't looking for you to be the masculine energy and fix things in their life.
Yeah.
Because that's what you said you don't want.
Exactly. This is great advice.
You're already going to the right places. So it's just basically, if you're in a room of 50 men, are you attracting the men who need help? Or are you attracting the men who are looking for somebody soft that brings them peace and joy?
Yes. And I want to attract those men.
That's right. But I don't think you have to change a darn thing about how you look or how you like, you're perfect. So it's really just allowing that other side of yourself to shine through.
Embrace.
More.
Yes. And those are things that I definitely would work on, especially at the beginning of this year, me being 30, like I really want to be able to embrace that side. And I never thought about feminine classes. Like I've just been trying to like, make sure I look pretty, make sure I do my makeup or, when I'm going out that I look presentable at the gas station. But
all that. Yeah. Flirt with the men at the coffee shop. Yeah. Give everybody Cupid eyes. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know. And continue to get outside your friend groups and just continue to try to meet new people. I think that's always really smart. But I believe that you are like, you're like 2 seconds away, go talking too much. You'll be like, yeah, I'm good now. like almost there. You know what I'm saying? So definitely you don't have to settle for anyone who is like keeping you on red. You don't have to settle for anybody who you have to question or wonder what their intentions are. You don't have to do a double, triple text. Did you get my last? None of it. They don't get none of that.
None of it. None of it. Mm-mm.
Okay. And I also would encourage you to date different types of men. Date men who are entrepreneurs, date men who maybe are divorced, date men who have different types, like really make sure that you are dating different types of men. That would be my other suggestion.
Men with kids?
Sure. I'm not opposed to it. I think you got to be careful with the baby mama drama. I think you got to be careful with there's a lot of financial responsibilities that men with kids, and there's also their child's always going to be the priority. So there's a lot of attention challenges that I think happen with men who have kids, but also I think that they know what love is. So I think that it could also work out just fine. So you have to, it's really on an independent basis, but I don't believe in any straight up rules.
Okay.
No man in jail. Like, I would like a man who has a job. I would like a man who's not incarcerated. I don't necessarily believe in long distance.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no. I'm like, what's my man is not here in Texas?
No. No. You don't have to move. Like, I believe that because you miss all the soft stuff. You don't get to cuddle after work. You don't get the quick little date nights. You don't get the coffee runs. You don't get the spontaneous flowers. You don't get all the stuff that you deserve that allows you to feel loved and safe and nurtured on. It's not ideal. So I wouldn't start off that way. There's situations where it just happens that way, and that's fine. But I would not start off that way. It's really hard to build intimacy unless you got to be spending time together.
Right. And that's what I want. I want the cuddles.
Yeah, 2 dates a week. Schedule me. Josh's name in my phone was Open Table Bay. Because he would just drop open tables via text. And I'd be like, perfect. Let's go. Yes. what I'm saying? Like literally his name saved because I was a serial dater too. That would be my other thing is you do not commit to any one person until they are committing to you. Mm-hmm. So you got to be open and may the best man win.
Yes.
Okay, I'm excited for you, Kristi.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I'm taking all of this when it comes to the brands, when it comes to Get Me Hired Kristi, and when it comes to Kristi, just finding her space and navigating in this world. Thank you. I was so waiting for this, and everything has come into play. Like your advice has hit everything, every point.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I think you already have a beautiful life, so it's just filling it with more love and more joy and more money. So, Kristi, one more thing. You might want to separate your Instagrams.
I have two Instagrams.
Do you have a personal Instagram?
I do.
Your personal Instagram is not giving baddie.
It's not giving baddie?
No.
Wait, can you see it? You saw it?
I think I did see it. And I was like, okay, cool. But that was fine because we were talking business. None of this.
What's that?
None of this.
Oh my goodness. What? That was my past life, I will say.
Archive it all. I only want to see this.
See? Okay. That's my 30th birthday shoot. You know,
I want to see wife, not homegirl that we gonna go get some crawfish.
Oh my goodness! What? Okay.
Anything past 22, you don't look like this anymore.
Yeah.
Archive all of that. I'd rather you have one photo that's just a bad bitch than all these other photos from 2020.
Okay.
Men are visual creatures.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got for you today, my friend.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we are here with Laci. Laci, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So a little bit about me. I feel like I'm a creative at heart. I spend a lot of time either traveling, I'm looking at fashion blogs, or I'm keeping up with my son's schedule. He's 14, and so he has a very heavy schedule that I'm keeping up with. But outside of that, I'm a avid learner. And so I'm one that's always learning, either reading something, picking up a book, those type of things. And so that's pretty much me. I have transitioned now into more of a caregiver role for my mom, even though she's still able to get around, as we've had some challenges lately. And so kind of working through that. But yeah, and that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. And Laci, what made you decide you wanted to get some advice today?
Well, I feel like I'm at a crossroad. I am fairly young, still young, but I've reached almost 20 years in municipal government. And so I've been looking and saying, well, is it time for me to shift and do something different? And about almost 3 years ago, I did shift into human resources. So I have changed careers, but I'm thinking about coming out of municipal government and maybe going into something private. And so that's kind of where I am. I also have done entrepreneurship and did that a little bit. I've always had a second income. Probably in the last 3 years is the first time I haven't had it. And so I'm itching again, you know? And so is it like, do I choose to try to go to the entrepreneurship route and not take on another role? So that's kind of where I am. And I'm just not sure right now.
Are you bored? Talk to me about this itch.
I would say I'm bored because the role is challenging in itself. And I continue to learn. I'm continuing to able to create. So I'm not bored, but I feel like I've always had to do something else outside of my full-time role. I don't know what it is, but that's what I've always done, is always had something that I'm working on outside. Yeah.
If money was of no obstacle, if you had all the money in the world, how would you spend your time?
To be honest, I probably would be doing something around fashion, to be honest.
Fashion. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So when I first started in the entrepreneurship arena, I was a fashion stylist. And so I would go on site to different photo shoots and help doing styling. I would do shows, those type of things. But what happened to me during that time was that it was too demanding for what I was doing. I had to do my full-time role. I was a single mother at the time. And so it was too demanding. So I just pulled myself out of that and just went in the direction and started doing more PR and marketing. During that time, it just, I still wanted to be in the creative realm. I still wanted to do entrepreneurship, but that fashion piece just didn't make sense for me at that time.
Yeah, the lifestyle of someone who's building their career in fashion is very nights, weekends,
Yes.
drop of the dime is very difficult to do with responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But you're not there right now. So I'm curious how we get you a little bit back to some of that passion.
I always keep telling myself that I'm going to start a YouTube channel, that I'm going to post more online and those type of things. But I always talk myself out of it. I'm a person that will second guess the heck out of something. And so me doing that, it makes me stop. It makes me pause, and if I don't have anybody to bounce things off of, that even puts me further behind when I'm trying to do something, because I'm second guessing what makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not sure that you need to completely transition out of your day job, frankly. If you're not feeling bored, if you feel like you're intellectually stimulated, particularly given that, care responsibilities with your mom, having a stable job, the government is very stable. It's very different than going into a private company. Private companies will lay you off without even a second guess.
Okay.
And if your job is one in which there's a lot of domain expertise, and because you've been there so long, it'll be very difficult to replace you, which is that's what it sounds like. I would stay there. Stability is very important at this phase in your life.
I agree. Yeah. And, that was kind of what I started to think leading up to this call. I've been talking to, a couple of people, and the last conversation I had, they were talking about, going into a private industry, they will lay you off, and just talking to what was going on in the company he's in, that it kind of scared me. And then just thinking about the political climate right now also scares me as well. And so I started to think like, what, where I am is probably the best situation right now.
I think so. There's this framework in my book where it's 6 pillars. There's basically 6 pillars that I believe that any of us are focused on at any given time. One is stability. The other one is money, freedom, the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it, wellness, relationships, and passions.
Okay.
And at any given point in your life, you're focused on 3 of those things in terms of growth, expansion, or it's just important because of your situation.
Sure.
And then the other 3, you're not doing them. It's just they're in maintenance mode, right? Like there's times in your life where you're like, I'm going to lose 5 pounds and I'm going to eat better. And like that is an active part of your brain space in the morning is I'm going to wake up and this is what I'm going to meal prep. I'm going to do these things. Or you're in relationship mode. You're like, I want to improve my relationships with my family. I want to improve my relationships with my girlfriends. And you're just like actively doing that. If I said those 6 again, what are your 3 right now?
I know for sure wellness is one, because I feel like I keep telling myself I can beat the aging process by, exercising and eating healthy. The other one I feel like is money. I want to figure out how to expand and bring in more income, but not always extend myself. You know what I mean? So how do I do that? So that's what I'm focused on.
So freedom. So money and freedom.
Yeah, money and freedom. What are the other ones?
Stability sounds like actually is one of your pillars because of the situation with you're on your split. You're right in that split moment right now.
Yeah, I would agree. So yeah, I would say stability, and stability has always been there, which is why I've stayed where I've stayed longer, the time that I've been there. And what I did was focus on how can I develop and move around and grow where I was. So it wasn't that the opportunities weren't there. I just needed to be stable. And so that's just within my personality.
And that's fine. I think my suggestion for anyone is there's no judgment on your pillars. You can keep stability for the rest of your life and that would be just fine. Right. But there may be a season, maybe when your son graduates and, you're empty nester. You only have one son.
I have 2 sons. The other one, he's grown. So, so that's a different support system.
Right.
But yeah, my youngest son is 14. And so he'll be going into high school next year. And so, I've been kind of looking at that 4-year mark, as a time to kind of shift and be able to do something different. So maybe there's 4 years.
Yeah. And that's fine. And then you can say, honestly, I can be a little unstable for a while, and I can try something new. But for now, I got some responsibilities to take care of. So, I think let's talk about your wellness pillar.
Okay.
What are the things that you are doing? Like what behaviors or things are you trying to incorporate into your life?
So I have a schedule that I go and work out. I have my alarms that'll go off every day that'll tell me, hey, sign up for this. So I'll go to spin, I go to Pilates, I'll go and just lift some weights, those type of things. Also trying to eat better. I might not hit it 100% of the time, but I recently just signed up to do meal prepping. So I'm going to try that out to see how that works out. But that's pretty much it. Massages, if I can. I did one when I was on vacation last week in Mexico. So I was able to get a massage and just relax on the beach. So, and I feel like traveling is a part of that. It takes me out of my norm and gets me to clear my head. So I would add that into wellness if I'm able to travel. And I like to travel every other month if I can.
Okay, so your wellness pillar actually is in maintenance mode. You have a good structure for that already. So we don't need to even work on that. So wellness is maintenance because it's in a healthy place.
Okay.
So let's talk about money.
Sure.
So outside of your day job, where do you make the most secondary income?
I don't have a secondary income right now. So what I have started to do is talk a little bit about future focused thinking and being able to secure and grow within your career. And so I've developed a course. And so what I've done, I've been able to do that a lot. I can go out and facilitate workshops. I've done that a little bit a couple of years ago. And so I want to be able to grow that. But what I get to that point there is I start to second guess. So I have the course created, but I haven't pushed it, you know, and things keep pointing to saying people need this information. They need it around how do they bring together their passions and their visions together to be able to then communicate that out to then start to build a personal brand. That's how I kind of connected across. But I don't know what freezes me from continuing on to talk about that and push it forward. So that's one thing I want to kind of grow and be able to do. And I feel like I'd be able to do that on the side and have just a static course there that people can join anytime. And it could be an evergreen type of course that lives, you know, forever. So that's what I want to do and what I have.
Yeah, I think that feels really far away from how you spend your day to day and your current job now. So, and it's not fashion, so it's not tied to your passion. So where did this come from?
It came from me wanting to have something extra.
You like made up a thing. You're like, how can I make money? And now I'm going to make this thing and try to make it work. I think that's challenging. Okay. I think it's challenging to say, like, I'm going to pick this thing out of the air and then try to find product market fit. So I actually think we need to do a little bit of work on, you should make money on the side doing something that you love that you would do for free.
Okay.
Because then you just get so much joy out of it. And it's easy you don't have this second guessing, all this friction, all this, I could do this, I could do this. You're not doing that because you're like, I enjoy this. This is so much fun. Right. Or it's something that is so easy you can do it in your sleep because it's already tied to your existing like trade skill.
Okay.
The third bucket of something completely off to the left is probably one of the reasons that's causing it to be a slow moving thing for you.
Okay.
If I were to ask your 10 closest friends, what is Laci really good at and what would you pay her to do for you? What would they say?
Probably around fashion, getting dressed, being able to find unique pieces.
That's right.
Those type of things. I think probably being a good listener and a coach would be another one. Probably being a creative thinker. She's always learning and bringing fresh ideas to the table. Those type of things. She feels like she's stable. She's put together. It's probably another thing that they would say. And I would say they probably say I'm fun, you know, because I like to laugh. I don't take myself too seriously. Especially when I'm hanging out with friends. So I think those are some of the ways that they would describe me. Yeah.
Do you get dressed every day? Like, do you get dressed?
I don't get dressed every day because I work from home majority of the time. But when I'm going somewhere, I look forward to getting dressed or I am creating reasons to get dressed.
That's right. Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to answer that way. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to spend 30 days getting dressed.
Okay.
Even working from home.
Okay.
And I want you to record it, buy a tripod, and I want you to put that tripod up, and I want you to get dressed, and I want you to explain what you put together and how you put it together, and start posting.
Okay.
Because that is not going to feel like work.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because I've done that a little bit. I started probably at the end of last year. I started to get dressed, sharing, a couple of things, and a friend of mine noticed, me kind of posting or whatever, and it seemed easy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem hard. Probably the hardest part was trying to put it together and edit it, which that didn't take me long because I understand how to
Yeah,
do
you can
that.
use the same template. You download CapCut. You get the same template. You do the same template every time.
Yeah.
One of the reasons content creation is hard for so many people is because they're doing too much.
Yeah, makes sense.
The content series, then the content producers who do really well are the people who do the same thing every day. They get dressed, they go to work. That's it. They got the tripod. It's the same setup. It's the same set. It's the same thing. They're the one that's changing. Or it's the girl who does the dense bean salad girl.
Yeah.
And every week she makes a dense bean salad. She don't make tomatoes. She don't make cakes. She makes a dense bean salad.
Yeah.
And we just come for that one thing.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
So being a lifestyle creator is a lot more effort. Doing vlogs, day in the lives, all this stuff. You don't have to do that because you don't need to be a full-time content creator.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So part of the first thing that I want you to do is you got to just start putting your unique energy out into the world more consistently. And then you start to see what people are asking questions about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they might be like, oh, where did you source that from? Or they might be like, I love your hair, or I love your glasses, right? So you're going to figure out what your signature is. Maybe it's really structured pieces like you're wearing now, or maybe you switch your glasses up every time, right? Like there's going to be something that's already that you do naturally.
Sure.
And then that's going to start to become your niche is actually a reflection of the feedback that you're getting.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That makes sense. Okay.
And you're just going to do that one thing. We're not going to post about food. We're not going to post about work. We're not going to post about personal branding. We're just going to pause all of that and just go hard like this for 30 days, post every day, and see what happens.
Okay. So can we go back to that personal branding? Because I want to say this. I'm not saying we have that. I'm not trying to wipe out what you're saying, but I want to just go back to it to also give a context. The reason why I started to go into a personal branding was because of something I did when I switched careers. And so it was me able to switch. I was in Parks and Recreation in municipal government. And I started to go and take different classes. So I started taking different classes through IDEO. And so started to pick up design thinking, creative collaboration, certificates, those type of things. And so me learning those different tools is what helped me switch into the role that I'm in now, organizational development. And so when I started to do that, I figured out a kind of a framework to be able to share with the people of how I did it. And so going back to that, that's where that came from for me to start talking and share with people about, hey, this is how you go about changing and switching careers or thinking a little different about where you are. And that'll lead to you building your personal brand within your career.
Right. Yeah. I think it's fine. I just don't hear any energy in your voice.
Okay.
I don't hear, life is just short. You know what I'm saying? So and you can only do so many things.
Yes.
And based off of everything that you said, we already got a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's true.
We got 9 to 5, we got kids, and we got mom.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of time. So the time that you have that's discretionary should be fun.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That makes sense.
I wouldn't say this to everybody, but you're in a different stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can figure out how to make money doing something that's fun for you, life will be good.
Okay. I like that. And that's probably why I would sit on the stuff. I would do it and I would get it so far. And then it would just sit there. So I have so much content around personal branding, career development, all of that, but it's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there because it's not freaking fun. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? I could look at a P&L every day and tell all these business owners what's wrong with their business based off their P&L, but that's not fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So don't do it.
Okay.
Just because you could doesn't mean you should. And I think the other thing for you is because you are so smart and because you're capable of enterprising, I'm believing and betting that once you get enough momentum, the enterprising part will naturally come next.
Okay.
And it may still be in branding. It may be find your signature look. Mm-hmm. And I help people find their signature look so that their brand stands regardless of what career or job they have in that moment, that they have a signature look and we develop that together.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it can still wind up merging. You don't have to throw everything out the window.
Yeah.
But just doing career transitions and personal branding is not a niche. That is so generic.
Exactly.
So what is going to be unique to Laci's unique skill set and thing that women specifically are going to be like, I want to be the Bose. I want to be the Kim Blackwell from PMM, like these strong Black women that have a signature look and vibe. If I saw the back of Bose's head, I'd be like, that's Bose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you saw the back of my head, you probably wouldn't be like, that's Morgan. You wouldn't know. You'd be like, I don't know. Hair is curly, not curly. Or could be any light-skinned girl. I don't know who that girl is.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't have a signature look. That's not my thing. Okay. But for some people it is.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and that can go a long way.
Okay. I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for clearing that up in my head, because like I said, I spend so much time looking at fashion content, looking at fashion stuff, but I felt like it was so far away because it didn't align with my career itself. It just didn't make sense. But now hearing it out loud and talking to you, it does make sense.
Yeah. How I would style the new Gap Harlem Fashion Row collection that just came out, working from home, and how I would style it going to work.
Yeah. Girl, you just gave me.
I'm just saying you can do
I know. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Like I would literally never, because it's not part of what I enjoy, but you would be like, yeah, I got it. I already looked at the collection. I watched the thing. I've already went on the site. I didn't even buy it, but right. And then over time, you might start getting product and all types of stuff that adds extra energy and joy into your life. Exactly. And that's how you live a wealthy life, right? Okay. Where it's like, I am living in my truth and I'm making money in my truth.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. What else is on your mind? Is there anything else?
The only other thing that I'm working on is trying to develop some land. So that's another thing that I have. I've also been making some calls to look at the financial side of it. And so my mother has land that was passed down to her from my grandfather. And so during the time, she was never able to do anything with it. Mm-hmm. And so with me being where I am with, finances and being able to be stable with finances and being able to cancel out a lot of stuff, I want to do that. And so that's one thing I'm working on. And so what we're going to do is build a duplex near a college in Tyler.
Smart.
And so that's another thing that I'm doing. And I feel like what this will do is to help build that generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And because that's where my mindset is, what can I leave behind for my sons? I think that's probably another reason why entrepreneurship is kind of attractive, is I'm like, what can I leave behind for them, where they're not, trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But so that's what I'm going to hopefully do this with the development of land.
Yeah, I think developing land, if you already own the land, is a great way to leverage the asset you already have. Yeah. Depending on what the land type is. Josh and I were just looking at land and we're like, we'll just buy the land, sit on it, clear out all the trees and sell the logs. And that'll pay for the land for the next 2-3 years. Just the price is selling the trees that were on the land, right? Like there's so many different ways to arbitrage land ownership. That's not my expertise, but there's a lot of people who have good content around land development. I think building properties, getting that value, getting that equity in your household, getting a balance sheet that has assets on it, having a portfolio of different types of income over time is really smart. Yeah. So that's a slow drip, right? Like that takes time and investments and cash flow and different things. Yeah. But I think it is smart to do, especially if you already have the assets. So you get a little bit of a leg up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the only other thing that I'm working on. And I feel like that's going to move faster. Just as long as I'm able to qualify. So that's what I'm working on right now, is getting the paperwork.
Well, having a 9-to-5 is helpful there.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yep. That is true.
What about stocks, investing? How's your personal finances?
I do invest. So I have a within my own personal account, like just ready money. I've put it into a couple of set of that money into some investment. So it's just growing there. It's a high savings interest account that I'm doing there. I have retirement. So there's 2 different retirements that we have at work. And so it's the basic one that the company matches. I have that. And then I invest into a second one that I put money into as well. I play with little stocks there. It's like on Robinhood, doing a little bit there. So yeah.
Okay, good. That's critical, right? You don't want to not do the basics of the 401k matching and having everything pre-tax benefits. That's when it comes to generational wealth and having more stability, that's always the first place to start. So I had to ask that question before we start talking about development land. It's like, okay, yeah, 401k matching. A lot of people don't. So I'm glad that you're doing that. And, trading individual stocks is the dirty game. It's tough. So keeping things in index funds and high yield savings accounts is definitely a really, really good way. And if you're going to do the stock trading, consider taking a class, just to make sure you're not losing money.
Okay. Yeah. Because I just put a little bit in on Robinhood and played around. So that's not my heavy hitter at all. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun money then. Cool. I think you've got a good plan, Laci. I think that, the adjustment to focusing on your passions, making sure that your life has a lot of joy that's just for you, particularly because you do so much thinking and responsible. You're so responsible. Like you're a responsible woman.
Yeah.
And that carries a lot. You carry a lot with you. So having something that brings you joy every single day that you can build into a business that's just for you, you don't have to pass everything down to somebody else. You already got what you're going to pass down. It's going to be the land. So if you build this and you just make $2,000-$3,000 a month doing this, plus you get free product of beautiful things that you love and you get invited to cool things and you just have fun with it, that's actually, I think, a better fit.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For that. Yeah. That clears my mind. It really does.
Yeah. You're really responsible. You're doing great. You're on a good track.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just need that confirmation.
Yeah.
You gave it to me. So thank you.
Sometimes it's just that I think as Black women, we're just, you don't want to have the risk of what am I missing? What am I not taking advantage of?
Yeah.
And that can, I think, cause a lot of internal pressure. And I honestly think most times it's high achievers who already are very strong and very stable and already in the top 5% of the country. We're very hard on ourselves. So sometimes it's just that permission to let yourself shine a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very hard on myself, second guessing and just, I'm not doing enough. Those are the things that I'm telling myself. And I need to stop that because I am. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing more than enough, my friend. So thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me. This was great. Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing all your new content.
All right.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining today's episode. Thanks, Laci.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Journey Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review and head to our Instagram and YouTube to leave a comment. I look forward to hearing how this podcast has made an impact on your own journey.